Blog Talk Radio.
We welcome the night.
Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host, Ian. Ian, are you there?
I am.
How are you this week, sir?
Finals.
Fun times. But we're here with another edition of our Christmas Horrors Marathon, Week 2. And we got I don't even know if you really want to say it's an interesting one, but we picked out one, and we're going to review it. Ian, you chose Weredeer because, again, we have a thing for, I guess, reindeer-related films where there's not really that many of them. And, again, you mentioned one last week with the reindeers, or the moose one in 13 Slaves Till Xmas. Or wasn't there another one? There's another one. I know it's off the top of my head because the first one started off with they were in a van, and then they had like the demon, and then it slowly went off towards the end. All the creatures were stirring. That's the other one. There it is. So there's not many, evil reindeer out there. So with this one, the idea behind this one being a weredeer, that sounded fun, and sadly, we'll have to get into that here in a little bit. But the plot is very basic and very simple. The thing is, the film's honestly, it's about an hour. It's like an hour and 9 minutes, so there's not a lot of meat on the bones within the time frame. So we're introduced to Hannah and Max. They're a couple. They've been dating for a while, or a year, and they decided, okay, let's go. Max was wanting to invite her to Christmas with his family because I don't think she had any. I think her mom and dad died or something like that. Somebody's parents are dead, and so they decided to go to his place, which is where his brother lives, Bobby, and a few other relatives, and it's a very, backwoods sort of redneck kind of, southerner style family, because they're very into, again, guns, beer, and just normal things that, a southern type family would be into. And he got away from it, and so there's sort of a little bit of a, I wouldn't really say a hatred, but like a displeasure of the family and their loved ones, a resentment towards Max for leaving, and so they're all doing their it's the 24th, and they're deciding to, do the whole family thing. And you have, again, like, there's a lesbian couple, and then there's another couple, and then there's Bobby, who is he's sort of the eccentric one who believes everything. He believes in Bigfoot, leprechauns, UFOs, aliens, all the things, vampires, and he's like this big, big, tall, burly guy, and he just believes everything. And so they're going to chop firewood, and Hannah, the girlfriend of Max, she goes on a walk, and she sees a deer, and then she's wanting to feed it a granola bar, and then the deer, it's just a normal, regular deer, bites her on the hand, and the bite soon takes effect on her, and she transforms into a weredeer with hooves and a reindeer mask, and she proceeds to kill off some of the family members, and that is the gist of the movie. So you have Max, who doesn't want Hannah to get hurt at all, and then you have all the family members just basically like, we need to kill her, and then you have Bobby, who's like saying, well, the only way to kill a Christmas reindeer is with the power of Christmas, a weredeer, and he's trying to think of all these concoctions and various plans to kill Hannah, and that's technically the gist of the movie. I mean, they're going out, they search the woods sometimes, and then Hannah attacks them as the weredeer, and she just cloves them to death with her hooves, and that's about it. And that's an hour, and there's really not much to say about the movie. It wasn't bad, but honestly, for an hour, I mean, it's pretty basic and right down the line. It really just didn't really have enough steam to keep you interested or keep you. I mean, it was watchable. That's the thing. Like, it wasn't. If we compare it to something we just watched recently, like Grandma Werewolf, I mean, that one had like a lot of shit going on with it, but it had some kind of charm to it. Whereas this one I felt was lacking that, because it was just get on to the next thing, get on to the next thing. And, I mean, they tried to put this, family dynamic there, but I felt like, again, it kind of worked with Grandma Werewolf because, it was more children, child-friendly, whereas this one, they didn't really push it enough, where I felt like they should have had, like, the family more sort of, again, redneck in a sense, because, like, they don't really push that, because, again, Christmas Eve, they're eating Little Caesar's pizza in natural light. I mean, they needed to push it just a little bit more, I wouldn't say obnoxious or anything, but it just felt like the characters were lacking any substance besides Bobby. Like, he was the only one you kind of cared about in a way, because he was kind of, the lovable loser. And they really don't give you that much else to really work with, like Max doesn't want to lose his girlfriend, but then he has, like, another lady that lives across the road or next door to him that has feelings for him still. And there's just, like, a lot of stuff that's just kind of, I wouldn't say lost in translation, but it's just, like, not really touched upon that much. And it kind of just loses sort of you see the intentions it's trying to do, but it just felt like it was lacking something to make it actually, like, come together and work, because it was just like they had the idea of, like, oh, this would be great. And again, it's not a bad idea, getting bit by a reindeer and turning into it. They just didn't really do that much with it. Even with the reindeer attacks, it's just a hoof across the throat, tearing someone, disemboweling someone, playing. It just looked, like playful, like someone at a furry convention just galloping around, It was weird, because they didn't really go for the gusto with it. Again, you can't, for the budget, I get that, but they needed something to make everything come together properly, because it just felt like there was definitely something missing there. But Ian, I'll let you have your thoughts, because you're the one who chose this one, and then we'll go back and forth. Ian?
I was going to hit mute. Yeah. Yeah, I said, you shouldn't let me choose things. They always turn out bad. But, I mean, I don't know. This movie it was just too simple. I think that's the problem with this one. It just wasn't a whole lot there to dig into. It was mostly just this guy complaining about his family, which wasn't even that bad. Like, so I don't know. He was the one that was making the situation pretty bad, and it was kind of getting on my nerves. I don't know, like, just how fast everything was just going on, but yet at the same time, not a whole lot actually happened. You know, I mean, yeah, you got some comically, like, kills where they're, you can obviously tell they're not, like, touching the person. But yet, like, you can see, like, their shirts and things. Some that's just, you know, nitpicking. That wasn't really, like, I don't know, just not a lot to go on. You know, just, I kind of was expecting a little more camp.
Like I said, there needed to be something to make that work. I mean, definitely camp or a little bit more tongue-in-cheek because it was so straight-laced. It was just too, you know, you just like, nah, come on. For something like this, you need to go a little, I mean, that's what Grandma Werewolf did. They kind of did the whole campiness, and that worked in its favor, you know, because we both kind of, you know, for what it was okay. This one is just like too straightforward, straight-laced, and there's not enough, there wasn't really, again, no room to breathe because they're always on to the next thing, and like, the fight only lasted like 2 seconds, and then this goes on, and then like that happens, and then this person gets attacked, and then that person gets attacked, and it's just like, you know, hit all the beats and just going straight down the line, you know, just like boom,
exactly.
boom, boom.
It's just, and, you know, yeah, like you said, it took itself way too seriously. Like, you know, they tried to make the jokes and stuff, but in the jokes, I mean, yeah, it felt more like a real family making jokes things, but they weren't funny. Like, I got a couple of chuckles out of me, but like, it just, even the jokes felt too serious. Like they were trying too hard with it. And
yeah, Bobby really, he's kind of overplayed, but again, he's like the only character that's kind of likable in that sense because he just like, you know, he's, you know, crazy person who believes in leprechauns and has all these traps and stuff. I mean, so there's a little bit to like about Bobby, but again, like the lesbian couple, okay. I mean, they want to go out and make out in the car, okay. And then you have the other one that's just there's really no depth to anybody besides Bobby. That's the thing. Like because there's not enough room to breathe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That like the only character we really got to know, other than, you know, the main two, was Bobby. That's the only other family member we really got to know. And I felt nothing for the characters, and like it felt like they were trying to make us feel something for them, but at the same time, it's like you gave us nothing but like a few lines here and there, and then the rest of it was just like, you know, talking and making weird, stupid jokes that didn't go anywhere, and him complaining about his family the whole time. Just nothing there.
Yeah,
it was disappointing.
It's just one of those. Yeah, very disappointing for something. I mean, again, it looked good. I mean, for their budget and everything. I mean, it looked honestly better than some of the other ones we've watched for Christmas. But again, especially for like the budget, I'm assuming it had to be super low. But it was a decent looking camera they used, and everyone did well. Again, like it was kind of, it was kind of like opening, a door and looking inside the actual family at Christmas time, just like they kind of had that, you had the one outcast and you had the couple and they're all doing their own thing. You have the the two couple, the two that love each other a lot and do their thing, and then you got the crazy brother-in-law and or uncle in a sense. You can just say uncle too because they were kind of one and the same with like crazy stories and all kinds of antics there and wants to have fun. But they just, again, it was just very concise and to the point. And again, she got bit by a reindeer and then that was it. Then she just changed back into a human, but then she never was able to change back again after she changed into the Weredeer for the second time, which seemed odd.
That
like
made
I don't
no
know
sense.
why. There's like how. I don't know. I guess she had minor, minute details, like she was able to change back into a human, now she's not able to. I have no idea. They just don't really give you much to go on with, like, why. It's like a normal, like, creature feature, like someone gets bit, you get changed, but I don't know, they didn't make, like, the reindeer, like, do anything beforehand, like if they showed like the opening scene of like a reindeer like licking blood or something off of something, or water that had blood running down to it, or something interesting like that, to like, okay, this reindeer has this in it to make this person change into that. No, it's just a random like rabies bite, I guess, to change it into a weredeer. It was just, it didn't give you
there was
any
no
depth on anything.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. I was just sitting there like, I was like, so this deer just randomly got some kind of werewolf in it, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to turn my brain off for this. But like, I mean, the ending was okay. Like, I think that was the most okay-ish part about the film. The deaths were meh. Nothing really there. Like, and this is one of those movies that I don't hate it. Like, I didn't hate myself for watching it. It just,
It's just too simplistic. It's just very simple and very, just, there's nothing there, It's just it's a quick hour watch, and it's just one of those, like, okay, that was all right. And then you move on to the next. There's no deep thinking or anything like that. It's just a simple watch, for Christmas, I guess. Whereas we had, with Nutcracker, I mean, it's mess and convoluted and all stuff don't make sense. This one, everything besides, again, a few things. I mean, everything's pretty straightforward and simple and basic and straight down the line. And you're like, okay, it's just not one of those you need to get upset about because things don't make sense. I mean, like Ian said, you turn your brain off, like, okay, whatever. I put, turn the brain off, and like let it play out. It doesn't make you angry or upset or anything like Nutcracker does. It's just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. It's very like nonchalant watch. It's just like you watch it like, well, all right, I guess I'm done. You don't have no emotions there.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess after watching, Grandma Werewolf, I was just like, you know what? We don't see deer werewolf movies all that often, so let's just give it a little try. And and I was kind of actually like, I knew it was going to be terrible. Like, I thought it would be like at least like Nutcracker bad, where we can like have something to grab onto and rip it apart.
Yeah.
But this is just there's no meat on it. It's just bone with like little tiny chunks of meat here and there, but like nothing you can really eat. It's like a little nibble, and there's just nothing. And it's just so disappointing, especially like, how do you make a movie about a werewolf deer plain? Like, it's like the camp is all there. You just dial it up, like dial up the family. The way the guy was going on about his family in the beginning, I thought they were just going to be like, like entertainingly bad in some form or another. No, they were just. I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. That is what my family looks like, and that's how my family talks. So to me, that just felt like me going home for the holidays. It didn't feel like, it just, I was like, why is this guy complaining? They are trying to include him. They're like, he's the one being a dick. I was getting more mad at him. And I felt nothing for, I liked Bobby. Bobby was the only one I actually kind of was like, oh, when I thought when he got attacked. And I was just like, oh no, Bobby, you're the only one that kind of gives this movie a little entertainment. Definitely not dime store Steve Amell. That is who he looks like. He looked like a dime store Steve Amell, and I will die on that hill. And I couldn't take it serious. Like that right there was even part. Like it was just hard to take him seriously because like even his facial expressions were like what I saw on Arrow, and and I was just like, dude. This is a movie about a werewolf deer. Stop looking so damn intense. Like you just have this like really intense face. Like you look like you're straining. And I'm just like, stop. This is supposed to be stupid. Just have fun with it. But no, it was boring. And that's also a thing. It also, to me, I was watching it, and time went by pretty quick because, like you said, everything just kept happening. But at the same time, like, nothing was happening. Like, it was like, it was like Nutcracker in that sense, like, where they had a great idea, they did barely anything with it, they just had a couple of cheap kills, and it was over. And you're just like, you could have done more with this. Like, the transformation scene was kind of, I was like, ooh, it's like, oh, is he going to pick up? I was like, huh. And I kind of liked it. I mean, the mask, you could tell that, like, if they bought that, they spent a lot of money on it because it looked really nice. Now the hooves,
it definitely looks better than Nutcracker. I mean, you can still see it was on her head. It's a mask. I mean, you still see her hair come out from underneath of it in a certain shot.
Oh yeah.
But
I saw
but
it.
Honestly, it did look. Yeah, it did look a little bit better than Nutcracker did.
Yeah.
But again, it's it's just one of those just plain watches. Nothing. Honestly, there's nothing really that bad about it. It's just there's not much to, like Ian said, not much meat on the bones, and they don't do much with it. And again, like, they had a decent idea. I wouldn't say that they messed it up, like sort of like how Nutcracker did, but I think like they tried their best, and that again they just kind of went a different way when they should have went like a more campy route, more rednecky sort of. I wouldn't say in your face with the family dynamic being so country or anything like that. I'm just saying they needed to have a little bit more depth besides, oh, my brother's obsessed with cryptids. They didn't give anybody else that much depth, and they needed to do something to make it work besides, oh, you left to do this and do that, and then like again the whole next door neighbor has a thing for him, and he doesn't even look at it like, oh, okay. So it's like, all right, so you don't like tall redheads. All right, note taken. But yeah, there's really not much here, Ian. I mean, honestly, it's an hour, but it is kind of bland. I've probably said that numerous times already, but there's not really much there. But I do think it's a little bit better than Nutcracker, even though it's not as, I don't know, I guess it's not as like outlandish or entertaining. I wouldn't say Nutcracker was entertaining, but it was just like, it was bad, it's just like, just reveling, and it's like, oh my God, this is awful, what they're doing and go about things so wrong. This one is just like, it's pretty straight and narrow and doesn't go off the beaten path, and it stays in its lane. It goes by, again, not much happens, but it goes by fast. I mean, I was going to take a bathroom break, but I was like already at like 50 minutes. Well, Jesus, I just got like a couple minutes left. I'll finish this. And that's what I did, and then it was already over. And I was like, all right. So it's just like one of those where it's just like there's not really much there to pay attention to because, again, there's no deep plot. There's no interesting characters except for Bobby. And the kills, they're kind of and kind of cheesy in a way because her hooves are just over someone's stomach, like patting them down, like frisking them, like, ah. And so it's kind of like, a little bit of like a, give you a smirk here and there, and how like that looks stupid. But again, I wouldn't say it's worse than Nutcracker because Nutcracker was just, there's a lot of things wrong with that. So this is, if we're going by stuff, this is like the Haunting of the Murder House for Christmas so far. This is just one of those completely straight and narrow films that doesn't do anything outlandish.
Yeah.
It just stays straight and narrow, does stuff you've seen before. So for some reason we're going in that path again. So next one. But nonetheless,
I mean, I'll take it over wanting to bash my brains out. But I don't know. I say that, but like at the same time, like at least the movies that make me want to bash my brains out gives us something to like dive into. Like we can, movies like this. It's a movie. That was it, and it's just like you can't, because it's not terrible in any like sense. I mean, it's not good. It's just the best. And I don't know.
It doesn't really stand out among anything. Again, like, I mean, if we're going back like years back, I mean, it's definitely better than like Christmas Presents because, like, again, that character, that film only had one good character, that one the one lady, because she was crazy and over the top. And again, that's the thing, is like she was so eccentric and everything was crazy, and like she was the only good character while everyone else was just fucking plain Jane. So it's kind of similar. Again, that film was not good, but that was like the only saving grace of that entire fucking movie. So this one is like Bobby's like her character, and it's like the only thing. But it's not like terrible. It's just like, again, it's just plain and simple and straight to the point, and it's an okay idea, and at least, again, it's short, so it doesn't really take up much of your time if you wanted to put it on the rotation, but it's definitely not one to like, it's not one to search out for. It's just like, okay, whatever.
If you have nothing else to watch and you need to kill time, like, it's fine for killing time.
Yeah, you got an hour
because, like,
there, you can get through it, no problem.
Yeah, it really doesn't take much to get through that movie. Because, like, it's good enough to keep your attention, but not good enough to, like, you will probably forget this movie. I will.
Yeah.
I know I'll forget about this. They're going to be bringing it up, like, a couple of years from now, and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, that was a movie.
I always do. Yeah. I'm sure you forgot Christmas Presents, too. But
I did, until you said something about it. I was like, oh, yeah. Just because it's like... yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, there's not really much to go off on this one anymore. I mean, we kind of dug as much as we could with, scraped enough to make some deal off of. But, that's going to do it for this episode of Horror Not Oasis for our Christmas Horrors Marathon. I got an idea for next week's show, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be out by then. And we'll do that on our next episode of Horror Night Oasis. So thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time.
Good night.